Even though he arrived 3 months after the murder, for Smith, the crime scene remained the most important part of his investigation. He was certain the killer would have left clues. It was just a matter of finding them.
When you're not in on a crime scene, you do miss out on quite a bit of the feelings that you get during the initial investigation. That's where photographs really do come in. The Boulder Police Department did take great photographs. I did spend a great deal of time inspecting each and every one of those photographs, and they did tell me a story.
Much of the house had been disturbed by friends who had gone to help the Ramseys. Because of this, Smith found one police photograph taken in the basement disturbing.
JonBenet's body was right behind that door when this photograph was taken. If that door would have been opened at that time, this case would have taken an entirely different turn. Everyone in the house would have been cleared out. Nothing would have been disturbed.
Smith found other early photographs that also worried him.
This photograph does show a lot of snow around the house. And if you've seen this, your first perception would be that a person who entered that house would have to leave some footprints in this snow. Now look at this photograph. The sidewalks are completely clear of snow. This is another angle. You not only don't see snow on the walkway area, but take a look at even at this table. There's no snow. There's no snow on the chair. Another rather significant photograph taken from the alley. A person approaching this house from the alley would leave no footprints around the house.
Smith was surprised at the lack of snow, but says, of course, the fact someone could have reached the house after all did not mean anyone had. But it did mean Smith had to look for evidence of an intruder which might have been missed.
If an intruder had spent any time at all checking out the house, he would have noticed that on various doors and windows there was a sticker indicating that the house was alarmed. On a lot of these older houses, the windows leading into the basement are not alarmed. And that drew my attention to this window on the north side of the house. It's a small window leading into the basement. When we inspected the photographs, we did see something very interesting.
Smith found the dust on the window frame had been disturbed. He also found what he thought were finger marks. He concluded that someone may have tried to open this window. Yet an interior photograph showed it remained locked and undisturbed. If there was an attempt, it had failed. However, another photograph, taken in the basement, suggested a second attempt may have succeeded.
Now this is a photograph that really caught my eye, because the window was wide open. But what also caught my attention was a mark on the wall leading right directly from this open window down to the floor. When I first seen that photograph, I thought, uh-oh, looks like somebody could have got in here.
That open basement window was at the side of the house, underneath an unlocked metal grille. According to Smith, if an intruder had got in this way, there would be evidence here on the outside as well as on the inside.
And that's exactly what the photograph showed me.
There was a great deal of foliage which was on the front of the grate, and had actually been pinched under the leading edge of that grate. Even when you pick the grate up, you can see very clearly that there was green foliage right on the plate that the grate rested upon. Also, in looking into the window well, the window in the center, the one that had been opened, had a great deal of disturbance in front of that particular area of the window.
You can also see what appears to be finger marks on the window frame itself.
All this convinced Smith an intruder could easily have got in this way.
You know, it's been said that only a midget can get down into this grate. Well, I'm no midget, and I'll show you how easily it can be done. It really wasn't that difficult coming in that window. And often, a burglar or an intruder, if they find a safe way in, they also figure it'll be a safe way out. And if you remember, there was a suitcase that was right underneath this window. And if he figures that he has to go out this window, he may think that it would be much easier if there was something to stand on. And on top of this suitcase was a very small, tiny, pea-sized piece of glass, which may have been picked up by a person's shoe and a faint impression of possibly a footprint on the suitcase. And that suggests very strongly to me that perhaps someone did stand on that suitcase at one point, perhaps to go out the window or perhaps just to test to see if he could go out that window. Now, I can't say for sure if an intruder went through that window, but also we cannot just disregard it and say that he did not come through that window.
Smith knew that the local police had said they'd found no evidence of an intruder. Although his evidence so far was inconclusive, he felt it should at least be kept in mind. The Boulder police declined to take part in this program, but it's clear they rejected Smith's advice. Lead Detective Steve Thomas later publicly described the idea of an intruder as far-fetched and ridiculous. Ignoring Smith's advice, police set out to increase the already intense media pressure on the Ramseys. Lacking evidence to justify any arrests, they hoped this might force a confession.